Hello, I'm Nathaniel Eckert, and this is the Home Affordability series. So for the first video, I'm going to start with explaining how the different down payments can save you tons of money. So this video is how a big down payment can save you thousands. Alright, increasing the size of the down payment. Increasing the down payment on your mortgage could save you thousands on interest and on mortgage insurance. In Canada, the lowest amount you can put for a down payment is 5% of the mortgage value. With the down payment less than 20%, you are required to pay mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance can range between 3 and 5% of mortgage value. For this video, I need an example mortgage. So the example mortgage is based off the average home price in Manitoba. The average home price in Manitoba is $380,000 rounded up. So just to break it down, a mortgage value of $304 assumes the 20% down payment. $342 would assume a 10% down payment. $361, a 5% down payment. The monthly payment schedule. I will explain payment schedules in a future video, which I'll go in depth on how increasing your payment frequency can save you thousands as well. So I took the average of the top 4 listed rates in Manitoba and got 4.69%. This calculation will be on a fixed rate mortgage with a 20-year amortization period, 5-year interest term. Now, the monthly payments will be altered if you do pick the standard 25-year amortization period. I went with the 20-year because who wants to pay a mortgage off for 5 more years? So if you have the means to do this strategy, there's that. I'm a financial planner. You can reach out to me about actually a strategy that might work tailored towards you. Alright, so this is the comparison here. We'll start with the 5%. 5% down, your monthly payment would be $24.05. Now, the mortgage insurance on the 5% down payment would be about $14,400. The mortgage insurance can be combined with your mortgage value. So in the total mortgage there below, it's $375,400 because the $14,400 is being added to the $361,000 for the 5% down payment. It's just being added to the total mortgage. So the total interest over that 20-year amortization period would be $201,000, pretty much $202,000. So I included at the bottom there a break-even price. So to explain the break-even, that is just the total interest plus the total mortgage, which would be the selling point you would want to get on the home to say you didn't lose money while you own the home. We'll treat $578,000 as the maximum selling price. So we'd say on the 5% down that you're making no money or your home price flexibility is 0. So we move on next to the 10% down. That lowers your monthly payment. It also increases the down payment it doubles the down payment. So 10% down, so that's $38,000. So that lowers the monthly payment to $22.59 every month. So your mortgage insurance estimate goes from $14,400 to $10,602. So the total mortgage then is brought down to $352,602. So that is $342 plus the $10,602. Boom. So that lowers the break even down to $542.13. So you save $3,798 in insurance, and you gain $36,000 in price flexibility. So like I said, let's say $578,000 is the max selling price that you can get for this home when you go to sell it, and you've only paid $542. That's your equity and or home price flexibility. So now the 20% down, that lowers your down payment quite significantly from $2,405 down to $1,948. Now you've brought yourself into the secured mortgage territory, so you do not have to pay mortgage insurance. Without having to pay mortgage insurance, your total mortgage is just the home price minus the down payment. So simply $304,000, and that's a down payment of a lot. So the total interest on that is a massive difference from the 5%. You go from over $200,000 down to $163,304. So that makes your break-even price $467,304. That gives you the most home price flexibility. So if you did sell it at $578, you'd realize pretty massive gains. And or if something did happen, and let's say you had to sell it for $520,000, you are still making money on the sale. So what? So making a down payment of 20% will positively impact your mortgage. Without the requirement to purchase mortgage insurance, you insure a lower mortgage value. With a lower mortgage value, your interest burden is significantly reduced. This leads to a lower break-even selling price, which gives you more home price flexibility. So let's go over some nuances. So the 20% down payment on a $380,000 home is $76,000. Now this total is not achievable for most people, or a single person easily. The 20% down payment strategy would most likely require a two-person unit, combined income of at least $70,000 per year. You would need at least 5 to 8 years to invest your money safely, and a whole lot of determination. Alright, so now I'm going to go over some financial math, just on some of the numbers I put down over here. If you want, tune out. That's the it of the qualitative information. We're now switching to quantitative information, so it's going to be a lot of numbers, a lot of math, and a bunch of formulas. Give you a little preview. So if this is intimidating to you, tune out. More than welcome to. You now have all of the information just within these slides here. This just goes over how to save up and how to calculate your savings. So this is the quick example of the two-person unit, $70,000. 5 and 8 years to save their money. 3.5% interest rate compounded annually, just quite simple. They're saving 20% of their total income at the beginning of each year. That's $14,000. For the 5-year example, I've split it into two to get more complex and better understanding of the annuity formula, just for you guys. So this is with a present value of $10,000, and also with the present values both of having no savings and just starting with $14,000 at the beginning of each year. So, as I said, it's compounded once annually, so it's just N is just 5. The payment is $14,000 at the beginning of each year. Interest rate is assumed to be a static 3.5%. Now, I understand this isn't realistic, but this is just an example. Estimations can be done using your returns over a period of time to get a better example, and I could also help you with that. You just reach out to me at Eckert Planning, and I could help you estimate your ROI, and then I could do a calculation that would be tailored to your specific saving abilities. Alright, so now that's out of the way, the future values of the $10,000 initial investment plus 5 years of $14,000, almost $90,000. With the future values starting at $0, it would be close to $78,000. Now, if you gave it 3 more years, that jumps the price all the way up to $131,000, almost $131,000, which then would change the home price you could afford. If you had $131,000, the home price you could afford with a down payment of 20% would be $656,000. That's just 131,158 divided by 0.20. We'll now get into the Annuity Due formula. So this is the formula that was used to calculate these 3 values here. Now, quite simply, I'll explain the initial value first, and then that'll build into this one, build the intuition into this one. So the initial value, that's this $10,000. So it'd be $10,000 multiplied by 1 plus the rate, which is 3%, so 0.03. That is then raised to the exponent n. N is 5, so it's raised to 5. That calculation would just sit there. That represents the $10,000 compounded annually over 5 years. That amount is going to be added to the $14,000 that's being deposited at the beginning of each year over 5 years. So we'll then go into this one. So we saw that over here, so that's where we start. We start at 1 plus I raised to the power of n. We then subtract 1 from that value and divide that by I. Since we're inside the bracket still, we still focus on this one. We take the quotient and we multiply that by the payment. The payment was $14,000. We then take this whole value and multiply it one more time by 1 plus I. After that, all of this will be simplified, and it'll be a simple addition of this and this. So, in the next slide, I'll go through the examples slowly and with the real numbers. However, I've left out the calculation of the present value, as it is more straightforward than this whole big formula over here. Alright, so we'll start with 5 years. So $14,000 is going to be multiplied by this, then multiplied by that. So we'll start with the top of the fraction. This simplifies to decimal 187. That is then divided by the rate here. We get 5.362. That, within the brackets, is done first. We then get 75,074. That is then again multiplied by 1 plus the rate, and we achieve 77,702. So we do the exact same thing with 8 years, however, our exponent has changed. So that just changes the numerator, that then changes the quotient, and then we arrive at a higher value. Now, that's the end of this video. So I'd like you to like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. Reach out to me at eckertplanning.ca. I can help you further with any of these calculations, formulas, or whatever you have questions with. Leave a comment on the video if you're having trouble, and I can help you there as well. Have a good one. Bye.